Hello, everybody. You're very welcome to another episode of Chatting Up the Irish. Tonight, I'm speaking with a very interesting lady. Her name is Eileen Forrestal. She was a doctor, she was an anaesthetist, but she changed course and she now does something totally different. She became a co founder and she is now the director of a diary called Get Up and Go. It started with one diary and then it grew to many publications, and she actually organises and she does events now too. So hang with us for 30 minutes. Very interesting conversation. I hope you enjoy it. Please like, share and feel free to make comments. Thank you. Hello everybody, this is Chatting Up the Irish again. This is our second season and I'm delighted to be speaking to a friend of mine that I've known her for, oh my God, Eileen, it must be, 15, 20 years? Possibly. Eileen Forrestal is living in Sligo. She has a very interesting life. She was an anaesthetist in Sligo General Hospital. She's a doctor. She's worked all over the world, as far as I can remember, Eileen, as a doctor. But she moved into publishing and she created an amazing, what has turned out to be an amazing collection of Get Up and Go diaries and different publications to help you promote yourself, like self-promotion and self-help. Do you want to tell us all about yourself, Eileen? First of all, are you from Sligo?
No, May, I'm a dub.
You're a dub.
I'm from Dublin. I'm from the north side, the real side of Dublin.
What
From
side?
Dublin Mine, from Whitehall.
Oh, right, okay. And
So
how long are
yeah,
you down in Sligo?
so I came to Sligo in 1995, and I have not moved since. Well, I have actually. I went to Canada for 2 years, but really, for me, once I came to Sligo, I thought, oh my goodness, this is perfect. I'm home.
Yeah.
Even though I had never really been in Sligo before.
Isn't that amazing, Eileen? You just
But
fell in love with this.
I just fell in love with it. I just felt this is it. I like belong here, and now you could not dig me out with a pitchfork.
I know, but where
As we
you live is
say.
beautiful as well. You have a beautiful cottage, and where you live is absolutely beautiful.
It's
And of course, the scenery around Sligo as well, Eileen.
it's just stunning. It's
Yeah.
stunning. I remember the first drive when I was driving to Sligo. I was actually driving down from Letterkenny. I was coming to an interview for the job. I haven't actually been in Sligo, I think, ever. And I'm
Really.
driving down that west coast down from Letterkenny down and just driving along the coast. And I was gobsmacked. I
Yeah.
said, oh my God, how come I've never been on this road?
Yeah.
Thinking I knew everything about Ireland. And just completely, I came down by Mulletmore, down by Ben Bulben and Grange. And it was just stunning.
Yeah.
So
It is
anyway, I
stunning.
just always loved that drive. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. No matter
It
what
is.
the
I
weather's
bring
like.
people up to Slieve League now and
Mm,
all around the Mulletmore
mm,
Coastal Drive and
mm.
behind the back of Ben Bulben is beautiful as well.
All of it. Beautiful.
All of it is
Yeah.
beautiful. So
Yeah.
first of all, you were in the hospital. How many years were you in Sligo General Hospital?
Well, I came that time. I came that time in '95. I came to cover some maternity leave, and that was my interview. I was only just back from Africa. Actually, I'd worked in Zambia, and I was back, and I was kind of settling back into. So I was doing some maternity leave. So that was really '95, and I stayed a couple of years, and then I actually went to Canada, and came back in 2000. And from then, really, so from 2000 on to 2014, I retired then in 2014. So I didn't really, probably wasn't all that long when I think of it, when I the
Oh
dates. But anyway,
God,
that
yeah.
was that be yeah, just maybe yeah, it was over 20 years. But anyway, it's gone really fast.
Yeah, I probably met you. I think I met you shortly after you retired. I didn't meet you in the hospital at any stage,
Oh, you did. I only
did
retired
I?
in 2014, May.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just that the time is just going
It's,
really fast.
it is.
So I think that's what's happening. I think
It's
that's what's
kind of
happening.
frightening, even though, you would have expected, like, say, this year, last year, to go very, very slow. It hasn't.
The opposite. I think the opposite
Yeah, it
because
is. Yeah,
yeah, it seemed like when we were able to move, between place A and place B, we had time to get places.
yeah,
Whereas now we don't need any time. We just go from like screen one to the next screen to the next
yeah,
screen
yeah,
to the next
yeah,
screen. It looks like we've been
exactly.
all over the world, and we
Yeah.
haven't left our armchair, but it's been really busy. So
So
that's
your first publication, your first book was called Get Up and Go. Eileen, how did this whole concept, how did it all happen? How did it come
okay.
into
Well, it's
being?
Okay, well, it's quite interesting because the first book. So I was doing some fundraising, okay, way back in 2006. I was actually going to do a cycle in Vietnam, and I was raising money for ActionAid for Cambodia, Vietnam. And I used to buy a diary myself called the Irish Survivor's Diary. And this was my little diary that had me survive a career in anesthesia. Because, you know, anesthesia is very stressful. And I just had this little diary, and there was just little messages in it, and it would just be just a little tweak to
Yeah.
get you, you know, up.
Yeah, thinking differently, getting out of the stress
A little
level.
thing of just a little thing of thinking differently. So anyway, it was a little black and white diary, ring binder, and I was flicking through it for some inspiration for my fundraising.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at the diary, I thought, wasn't really anything in the diary, but I thought, gosh, I wonder if the person who does the get up and, you know, who does this little diary would give me some of the proceeds of their Christmas sales for my fundraising. So I went back to the shop to find out where this diary came from. And he said, oh, that's that lady. She lives in Strand Hill. I thought, it was 5 miles away. That's nowhere. So I popped out to Strand Hill and actually met Glenda. But Glenda was actually from South Africa. But Glenda had married an Irish man, had come to Ireland, had never been in Ireland before, had come to Ireland, and was just settling into Sligo and settling into a new life. She was only here 3 months when he actually was diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Oh, God.
So then she started to just put a lot of this stuff together for herself, for the diary, to keep her, you know, managing. She had to manage, she had to negotiate a new country, she had to negotiate getting, you know, all the different things you got to dealing when you're dealing with health. So just that. And so that diary kept her going. She just, you know, she just kept herself going with this diary.
Yeah.
So here I was anyway, coming at her door, you know, and she said, actually, she wasn't going to do it anymore. So she had done it for the 4 years, but her husband had died.
Oh, did he?
And yeah, so she just didn't really have the energy. She didn't want to do it by herself. You know, it just didn't. And I'm thinking, what? That's really like, that's a shame. That's a pity. You know, I was kind of listening to her. And then she said, did I want to go into a partnership with her? I don't know anything about publishing or diaries or anything. I said, super Simon and Easton's, you know. And then I kind of thought, well, you know, if anything is going to like save the diary, then yes, I'll do it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it kind of felt, well, it's just not going to happen. And then, but this was 2006. And in Ireland, if you remember, May, the Celtic tiger was roaring.
Yes.
There was no real surviving in the general, you know, thing. You know, it was all about. So I kind of said, well, if we wanted to do it, I said, I'd like to kind of put maybe my little spin on it, you know, and could we change the name, and maybe could we put some color in it and put some more stuff in it? You want to pack as much as possible into it. So so we just changed the name to the Get Up and Go Diary. So we had the Irish Get Up and Go Diary, and we kind of went color and just put kind of more stuff in it. And then I've been doing it ever since. So there's more color in it, there's more stuff that's in it, and now we're on 2022. It's just going to press, and it's coming out within about 2 weeks.
Yeah, and for anyone who's wondering, Get Up and Go Diary, I mean, there's great inspirational sayings right through the whole diary, you know, and you can open a page and pick out an inspirational saying, and it really is great. You know, I've had a few of your diaries now, and honestly, you know, it's amazing how it seems to hit you right at the right time. You see what you need to see at the time, you know.
That's what people say. We get letters from people who received the diary from a friend.
Yeah.
They say it came just at the right time. You see, friends know. A lot of them are gifts, you know, a lot of them are gifts for people.
And it would be, for anyone listening to us, it would really be a great gift for Christmas, let's say, or even beforehand, but the 2022 will be coming out. It'll be out well before Christmas, I presume.
It's coming out it'll be out in 2 weeks.
It'll be out in 2 weeks. So you could go on the website and order it. It would be a very unique gift over here. An awful lot of people wouldn't be able to buy it over here, let's say around the Cincinnati area. So if people wanted to order it from you, Eileen, where do they go? How do they do it?
They can order online. Our website is www.getupandgodiary.com. So it's
perfect.
So as it says on the tin.
I'll put that down underneath this.
That's great.
As well.
Thanks. Yeah.
So,
and just to say, actually, it was quite surprising, but we were kind of saying since we came out in 2007, we've actually sold nearly 500,000 copies.
Wow.
That's a lot of
That is a
diaries. That's
lot.
a lot of inspiration going out
It is,
there.
yeah.
Because, we don't do any particular, we do a little bit of marketing now, because with COVID, I think we had to kind of up our game, when retail kind of dropped, we had to move into online a bit more. But
Yeah.
really all of that is just people, buying them for their friends, and then they got from friends and they buy to the more friends, and then they come back and they buy more for their more friends.
Yeah.
So it's been fabulous,
So you have a few different, you've got the Get Up and Go, and then is there a women's, all the different books that you have? Tell us
all the
about
different.
them.
Well, we have the Irish Get Up and Go Diary, which is the
Yeah.
kind of the signature one, and then we have like the Get Up and Go Diary. So you don't have to be Irish,
Yeah.
but you still get the Get Up and Go Diary. And then we've got a Get Up and Go Diary for busy women, and then we have Get Up and Go for young persons. So
good.
it's kind of like from 8 to about 13 or 14, that kind of age, tweens maybe.
Yes.
And then we have we did one for entrepreneurs. We kind of put an entrepreneur one. We did one with called the Genius Journal, and then we did a gratitude journal, and we do a travel journal, and we do a daily planner for busy women, which is a kind of a bigger version of the diary, and we do a wall planner. We have a leadership journal coming out.
Fantastic, Eileen.
And just kind of, and they're either there, the paper one, absolutely have the paper one, but then people maybe want some digital ones as well, so we're pivoting that way too. Whatever people want, we'll provide.
It is amazing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Little did you think when she said that to you that you'd be sitting here today and telling me all about all these different things.
Not at all. And the thing is, I don't know whether you're familiar with, are you familiar with Jack Canfield?
No.
Oh my goodness, I was just looking. Jack Canfield he's a very popular, the Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Oh, yes.
So Jack Canfield was the Chicken Soup for the Soul guy. But anyway, he loves our diaries. He sent me a little video there last week, and he's like showing the 20 Get Up and Go diaries. These are brilliant.
Fantastic.
Thinking, oh, yes, of course, they are brilliant. So I put that up on Facebook there just to kind of think, oh gosh, Jack thinks our diaries are really good.
So if anyone has out there, tell me if I'm right or wrong, Eileen, but if anyone out there that's listening to this has any inspirational quotes that you might have heard from your parents or your grandparents, or some wise person somewhere, would you like to get them?
Well, actually, that would be really great, because I always find that when we have the Irish Get Up and Go diary, we just put a little bit of Irish into it. Maybe every month there's one page, and it's quite hard to come up with new sayings.
Yes, yeah.
From Irish, you can get the ones that are very standard. Níl and Hinton, but the Hinton thing, and it's like Gael, whatever it is. But
Makle Bakawaki Maramakawaki Lap.
That kind of thing, yeah. It's Mahan Scaling and I'm sure, yeah.
Yes.
So we've a few of those, but we don't have, it would be nice to have a bit more of a smattering of what they might be,
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. Always open for new quotes and new inspiration. And it's nice to be able to connect in with the Irish one, because, I've only got access to a certain amount,
It's our heritage, it's our language. It's always nice to have the. So what's the weather like at home in Sligo?
Well, we're going to have a heat wave this weekend, I believe.
Good.
Tell us. We're going to have 26 degrees. Like, that's pretty hot.
We
need it because we've just opened our outdoor dining.
Oh, yes.
So now people can, meet and eat outdoors.
Yes. We are now.
As opposed to just on their own. Yeah. It wasn't that you could meet indoors and now it's outdoors. You couldn't meet at all, but now you can meet outdoors.
We are at 29 degrees today. And tomorrow, Saturday, it'll be 32 degrees, Sunday 30, Monday 31. For our American friends, I tell you, and for all the people that's listening who have listened to me before doing this, I apologize profusely for the sound of my voice.
Because I thought you were going to sing for me today, May.
I wish I could. I can't. Eileen, I was on stage 3 weeks ago and I had to get up and walk off. I had to apologize. Okay. And there's nothing, it's not laryngitis or anything, it's just allergies. I'm not sore, I'm not sick, nothing. Yeah. It's just that I'm squeaky.
Yeah. I was talking about you the other day, May, because I was saying, do you remember the time you were here and you sang the song for my mum? And she hadn't heard that song since her dad was alive.
I know.
Her dad died when she was 13.
And she hadn't heard that song.
And she had not heard that. And she sang it along with you.
Yes, she did.
As if she knew the words. And she hadn't heard it for like...
Yeah, but somewhere in the back of her mind it came back. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had that, and it was like, and she clicked in immediately. I'll never forget her face. Like,
Yeah.
oh, somebody knows the
Yes.
song.
And it's
So you
funny,
have a
Eileen,
real
because
treasure trove, me.
I remember years ago, I was teaching at the summer school in Tubbercurry, and I sang this song, and this man came up to me, and he actually gave me an apple, and he says, you know, this is the beauty about singing songs and connecting with people. He says, you know, when I was a child, we were taught that song in school, and I hated it. He says, I hated it with a passion. He says, you talking about it today, and you talking about different things today, and teaching us that song today. He says, I see the beauty of it now. He says, you've done something for me with that song.
Mm,
And
super.
he says that the love, he says, that you have for that song, I can see it now.
Mm,
And now
yeah.
I understand why I was taught in school how
Mm,
to sing that song. And it was
yeah.
really nice. It was, you know, it was, but it's amazing how songs touches the soul. You know, so
Completely.
many people have come up to me and said, I heard my grandmother sing that song and I hadn't heard
Mm,
it until now. And it
mm,
affects them, Eileen. It
yeah.
kind of, it affects them in a
Mm,
good way, you know.
yeah. Absolutely. Music is amazing,
Oh, it is, yeah.
you know. And then when you have like, because I remember you like you sing without any accompaniment.
Yeah,
You just sing like it's just the voice.
yeah. Well,
And I
it's not
presume that,
now.
and that's, yeah, I know that, yeah. And that's the way it would have been in the past
Yeah,
before they had all the instruments and all these kind of
yeah.
fancy things. But it literally would have just been the voice.
It would have been the voice, and even lilting, even tunes like Irish
Literally.
tunes, they would have
Yeah.
passed it on by. It was called Ceol Bale, mouth music,
Okay.
and they'd
Yeah.
lilt it.
Yeah.
That was a very common thing for a lot of people who
Mm.
couldn't afford an instrument. You
Yeah.
know, years ago, they would lilt the tunes.
Yeah. Because you didn't need an instrument. You had a voice. You had
You
one,
had a voice, exactly.
particularly. And as long as somebody didn't come along in school and tell you that you couldn't sing, because that was the worst
Oh,
thing they did in
that
school.
was, yeah, it was the worst thing. And again, going back to the classes, and I've taught in a lot of the summer schools, and I can pick out within 5 minutes, Eileen, I can pick out the ones who were told that they couldn't sing. I was
Yeah.
told I couldn't sing,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. People can sing just as easily as they can talk, you know?
Yes.
And when I went to medical school first and we had anatomy, right? And I remember the anatomy demonstrator talking about the larynx, right? And saying the larynx, it's the voice box, and saying everybody can sing.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how you put
Yeah.
the air
Yes.
through this
Yeah.
little voice
Yeah.
box here,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, but I think the school did a lot of damage, you know. Either it gave you a
Did
song to sing
now
that you didn't
in fairness,
enjoy, or
I have met a couple of people. There's one guy, he's a friend of my niece's, and his party piece is to sing because he knows he literally can't hold it, he can't hold an accurate note, and it's hilarious, it really is, and he knows that he can't do it,
yeah,
but he sings the song because he can't sing.
yeah.
And
Well,
then
the thing,
it's not so much that you can sing, but if your notes aren't flat, or
yeah,
you know, but
yeah. I think there's a difference between singing and like singing like you're pitch perfect, like you're
yeah,
going to
yeah,
be,
yeah,
entering the
exactly,
Olympics for singing,
exactly.
but or there's just singing, but
And you
maybe we
can,
won't win any
yeah,
competitions, but it
and you,
doesn't mean you can't sing or be in a
exactly,
choir
yeah,
or,
exactly. You
you
don't
know,
have to be perfect. You
yeah,
know, as I said to people, who the hell gives a damn whether you're perfect or not? Just if you enjoy singing, sing.
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have to be Pavarotti
Not at all,
or
exactly. Yeah. You're not
you
looking to
know,
get paid fortune for it. You just want to sing.
you just wanna sing, yeah, and it's good. And you know, another thing it's good for, Eileen, and probably you've come across this in your medical field. People with a stammer. I have a few friends who have stammers, but when they sing,
Hmm.
they have no stammer and they feel fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I had a stammer, but I didn't sing.
Did you have a stammer?
I certainly did have a stammer. I had a stammer for my whole life.
And how did you overcome it?
Just kind of risked it. It's kind of a long story. I've just written a book actually. Just written a book about book launches next week. But it's
Fantastic.
really
You're
about
going to
that
be a
because
busy woman next week.
that's kind of said that's kind of why that's like stories I kind of hid actually in I didn't talk at all because I had a stammer, so I didn't actually do anything. I didn't sing or speak so
Oh,
that
God.
nobody was going to find out.
Isn't that awful?
Mm. Well, it gave me a very interesting life, and now I can write a book.
Now you
So, there's no such thing as it's an ill wind, as they say, that blows so
exactly,
good.
exactly.
So yeah, it's no, it's just it's interesting that you said that, because I wouldn't even sing, or else they had sort of. I mean, I loved listening to music. I loved it, but it
Yeah,
never occurred to me that singing would have been an access to anything.
yeah.
So
Well, I have a friend, and he sings. He loves singing. He's from London, and he really has a very, very bad stammer. But when he sings, he feels free, and
yeah,
he feels very
mm,
confident in himself when he sings.
mm,
But there
yeah,
was one time, I remember one night, he got the stammer in the middle of a song, and it totally destroyed. I mean, the man was in an awful state,
mm,
and we were calming him down and said, "Listen, that's only. Don't worry about it. That happened
mm,
once. It won't happen again."
yeah,
So it didn't happen again, but like it freaked him out at the beginning, when it happened.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's kind of your self-expression, and when it gets thwarted at all, you kind of get a bit stuck again.
Yeah,
You got
because
to,
yeah,
you got to find
well,
some other
exactly.
way of doing it.
Yeah,
Whereas if
I'm
they,
I'm the same because I'm thinking this is allergies, but I hope to God it goes away because I can't sing.
well, you probably just need to rest it. Actually, I would say
Yeah,
just rest it
probably.
for a while, and it'll probably maybe you need to
In
change
other
the
words, what you're
environment. Maybe
telling me,
you need to change
Eileen,
the
is
picture. Maybe you need to change the picture at the back there. Put some sea.
you
Put the
know what
sea
that
at the
is?
back.
You know what that is? That's a
Huh?
picture of the country road in Coney Island off Sligo.
Oh, I was just thinking. It looks like the road up to my house.
It does actually look a bit like the road
just,
up to your house.
just if I had a stone wall now, it'd be great. I don't have a stone wall, but the road,
Yeah,
the grass down the middle of the road is just like it.
yeah. You're not too far away from Benbulben, Eileen.
No, no, I can actually see it from my garden. If I go up
Yes.
there and sit up in the garden, I can actually see Ben Bulb, but it's just over there.
Yeah.
I
And
have
of
to go up
course, you're
high
not
though
too
to see
far
it.
away from Ross's Point. We've got some beautiful beaches in Sligo, and you're not too far away from any of them.
Oh, not at all, not too far from anything here. This is the
Yeah.
center of the universe, just in case people are not sure. This is the center.
Yeah. Yeah. So I keep telling people, I bring people all over Ireland, but the
Mm,
Northwest is definitely my favourite. Of
mm,
course, because I come from there, but I
sure.
mean, there's a different beauty about it.
Mm,
You know, I mean, Kerry and Cork and all those places are absolutely stunningly beautiful, but
mm.
there's a magical kind of beauty about the Northwest,
Well, the
Sligo and
thing about,
Donegal.
yeah, I think what I find about the Northwest is that there's not too many people here.
Hmm. It's
That's
not
the beauty of it,
overcrowded.
right? And I remember when I came first to Sligo, and like I said, I was blown away by it, right?
Mm.
So I started saying, like, this is how beautiful it is. And the people would say, shh, don't be telling
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
You don't want everybody here.
yeah,
So it still has that kind of like a sort of it's like, it's not like Kerry or Galway where everybody seems to go. It seems to be just that little bit, I don't know,
yeah. It's
just
funny that
special.
you
Maybe
say
you have
that
to
because
kind of really,
I had a meeting with the county manager, maybe 2 years ago, and he said that they were doing brochures to promote the Northwest. He says, but this was his words, we don't want to go crazy.
yeah,
We want it just nice and sustainable,
yeah,
but not crazy.
yeah.
And I thought that'll be good because it won't be over commercialized then,
Yeah.
and you'll still
And
have
that's,
that
yeah,
feeling of being welcomed and being made feel at home, like a country
absolutely.
area as opposed to a
Yeah,
town.
exactly. Yeah. It's like, it's almost like, I mean, don't kill the goose that lays the golden egg, as they
Yeah,
say. If
yeah,
this is what's here, then nourish what's here, beautify that, but don't, you know, build it up and
yeah,
get it like all this thing, because then people don't want to come to it. So
yeah,
Sligo has managed to keep its kind of, I don't know, its own kind of identity in the middle of all that, and
yeah.
it's
And it has
and I
so
suppose
much to offer as well. I mean, it
it has
has surfing,
so
it
much
has
to
swimming,
offer,
it has
everything.
mountaineering, it has
Yeah,
everything. You can go out fishing on lakes. There's
yeah.
castles, there's ancient tombs. There's
There's
so much.
the ancientness of it actually is really, really interesting. I
Yeah,
think I don't think we realize here yet, like maybe the significance of, we'll say, Knocknarea,
yeah,
you know, where all of the lines in Western Europe, all of that pagan ceremonial sites all converge on Knocknarea. Like, we probably go back into, we talk about ourselves, we go back into the mists of time, into mythology. There's a very fine line between history and mythology, I think, in this country, or
yeah.
certainly in this part of the country. And
Yes,
then all that thing about Yeats, and you know, the fairy, you know, come away, oh human
Oh yeah,
child, to the
come on.
waters and the wild, you know, like, and you know, even like I suppose Yeats was very kind of spiritual as well in his
Yeah,
poetry.
he was very much into mythology and spirituality as well.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I only discovered recently he actually translated the Bhagavad Gita into English. Like the whole Indian philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. So like it's, you know, I suppose there's just so much here that resonates kind of with me, you know, with the landscape and the history and the music and the connections. I don't know. Anyway, to me, it's just a magical place. I love it.
So you're going to have to write a book now about Sligo and all it has to offer.
Well, you know, I just talk about it if you ask me a question.
But you know, your
Yeah.
perspective on Sligo might be a winner.
Well, I think it takes an outsider probably to see it for what it is. You know, it's
Yeah,
like it's always, you know, I think we say it in the book. You know, it's the T.S. Eliot quote. It's like when you know, can't think of it offhand now, but you know, at the end of all your traveling, you come back and you see the place for the very first time.
yeah,
At the end of all your traveling, and I think maybe for me, having traveled so much around the world, and having lived, you know, in all these different places, and then you come back and you think, oh my goodness, it was here all the time,
time. Yeah, it's
and you
amazing.
get that connected to it. It's like, oh, this is my country, this is like
Mhm.
my land.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm not from Sligo, but it doesn't matter. There's like something that's just, you know,
yeah.
just, you know, connects
Well,
with me, and it just,
maybe maybe your blood somewhere was, you know, like there's a saying I say to people over here, Irish blood always goes home.
yeah, it
So
might
maybe
not be
Sligo
this, might
blood
not be
always
this
goes home.
generation, it might be some other generation, you know. And oh, you know, so where you're in Cincinnati, aren't you?
I am
That's like
across the river from Cincinnati in a place called Dayton, Kentucky.
Dayton,
Now
Kentucky.
I could
Yeah.
walk into Cincinnati. I'm on the, let's say, the suburbs or the greater Cincinnati area, but I'm
Yes.
actually in Kentucky. I'm a
Yeah.
Kentucky woman now, Eileen.
You're a Kentucky girl. God bless, it's good for you. Do you go to the
Yeah,
Derby? Do you go to the Derby?
yeah. No, I haven't been there. I one of my fans. He loves to hear me sing. He used
Mm-hmm.
to be a jockey, and I think he was born in Galway, but they moved over to Kentucky, and he was a jockey and he used to do all the circuit around Kentucky, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he was going to bring us to one of these races
Mm-hmm.
and we never got to go. So at some
Mm-hmm.
stage we'll visit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the next thing you should include when you come to Sligo the next time is you should include a trip with sea trails where they look at the archaeology of the coastline.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Who
It's
does that?
really amazing. That's a girl called Sea Trails. A girl called, oh my God, her name just escapes me this minute.
Oh, you
But
can
Sea
send it to me when
Trails,
you get it. Because
yeah,
there's another person I want to talk
she's an
to.
yeah, she's actually a marine archaeologist,
Really?
and it's fascinating actually her understanding of the coast
Yeah,
here.
that would be
Um,
very good.
yeah, yeah, and she takes horse riding treks, she takes walks. You can go and you can, and then you can go and you can get all the fish and you can cook it on the beach and you
Oh,
can.
that would be
So
fantastic.
you should definitely have to
Yeah, and there's another
include
girl
that in
that's
your trip.
doing oyster beds as well, a tour of oyster beds.
That's oyster. That's Ashling. Yeah,
Ashling. So
Ashling. Yes.
I'm going to see if I can include her in some,
Yeah.
because one of my
Yeah.
tours for next year, it's a private tour,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
want to see, you know, do something with oysters, and they want to see some wild birds. So I'm going to bring them up to flying eagles in Ballymote.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, there's
Absolutely. Yeah.
something for everybody, no matter what you want, even if you want to go horseback riding or anything, you can get it
Oh,
in Sligo.
everything. Everything. Yeah. Oh, her
Oh,
name is Oriel Robinson. I just couldn't
Oriel
think Oriel
Robin.
for a minute. Oriel Robinson, Sea Trails. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to
So it's
contact.
just, yeah, have to, you know, I mean, check it out and see whatever. But I think
Yeah.
it's, you know, certainly it's very good.
Yeah, there's so much. So,
There's plenty, yeah, plenty to
so
keep you going, and a bit of music and a bit of crack. As soon as we get back into it, I think we suffered really a lot from COVID, you know, because with no bars and no live music and anything, I think it
nothing.
really kind of, I think the Irish spirit really did suffer.
Or I had to reschedule all my tours as well, Eileen.
Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
reschedule all the tours from 2020 to this year, and then I
Mm,
found myself rescheduling them all to next year.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks like it's next year again, you
It
know.
will be next
But are
year.
you doing any virtual tours? Do you do virtual tours of
No, I
the?
don't.
No, but they were. People were doing that as well. I could see some people doing virtual tours. You
Really,
know, people
I
did all
don't
sorts
even
of
know
things.
how
But
that would work.
well, that means you'd be talking to me, and I'd be going around with a camera.
Oh, right.
I'd be walking the roads, and you'd be saying, look at that there, look at that there. And you'd say, Eileen, go here. And I'd say, okay, there. And I'd take a picture. And you say, there. I don't know how you work it, but some people have been doing all sorts of interesting things because people pivoted in all directions to try
I
and
know, yeah. I
just to
don't know that.
keep the connection going. But once we have a camera and an eye, it doesn't matter, whether they're my eyes or your eyes, when they go on the screen, they're available to everybody's eyes. So
Yeah, well, the only thing I decided to do when I couldn't bring people over to Ireland to introduce the people from here to the people over there, I thought I'd bring a little bit of Ireland over here. So that's why I'm interviewing people that I know that are into doing, you know, unique stuff. And definitely the Get Up and Go diaries are very, very unique.
well, thank you.
So would you believe that our 30 minutes is up?
I
So
would.
if once again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to us. It was great to have you along with us. And Eileen's book and all her books are Get Up and Go. So if you go to www.getupandgodiary.com, am I right, Eileen?
That's it. Perfect.
You
Yeah.
can order these. There will be an amazing, unique
Mm,
gift for Christmas for your friends and your family. Eileen, it was a pleasure having you. And hopefully, some of our listeners will be interested. And hopefully, if anyone has unusual, inspirational quotes, Eileen would love to get them from you. Am I right, Eileen?
Absolutely. Yeah. Send
Absolutely.
them on. Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Eileen, for joining us. And we were sponsored by Secret Ireland Tours LLC.com. And for all of our programs that we've put up already, you can find them on the website. You can find them on Facebook, Rumble, MeWe, and LinkedIn. So that's where I put them all up, Eileen,
Yeah.
when
Hmm.
we put them up.
So when do you think you'll get back over again for your next
I'm
trip?
hoping the first tour for next year is May. I'm
Yeah.
hoping to be able to get back then.
Yeah. And you won't be over before that yourself.
I don't know. I might. Hopefully.
You
So
might. You
anyhow,
never know.
thank you
Yeah.
very much, all my listeners, for joining us. And please like, share, and make a comment. And if you have any questions for Eileen, we will pass them over to her, and or for us, we'll do our best to answer them. Thank you very much.